You understand almost everything.
You read in English, you listen, you watch videos like this one.
But when you speak, the words don't come.
You know the word exists somewhere, but you can't find it.
You write new words down in a notebook, on your phone, on little pieces of paper.
And then you forget them.
You never use them.
And nothing changes.
If this is you, stay here, because this is exactly what we're fixing today.
Today, we'll fix this step by step. A real system, not theory. Hey, welcome. I'm Jason.
And I'm Sophia. If this is your first time here, we make practical English lessons for real life. Hit subscribe and smash that like button. It really helps us reach more people who need this.
Now let's get into it.
Okay, let's start with something honest.
Most people who learn English, they consume a lot.
Consume. That means you take things in, you absorb.
You read articles, you watch Netflix, you listen to podcasts, you use Duolingo every morning.
You're doing a lot.
And you understand a lot, right? Like when you read, you get it. When you listen, you follow.
But then someone asks you a question in English and you freeze.
The words don't come out
Why? Why does this happen?
because there are actually two types of vocabulary, and most people only build one of them.
Right. The first one is called passive vocabulary.
These are words you understand. When you see them or hear them, you know what they mean.
But you don't use them yourself.
The second type is active vocabulary.
These are words you can actually produce. You use them when you speak, you use them when you write.
And here's the thing, most people have a huge passive vocabulary.
But a very small active vocabulary.
That's the gap. That's why you understand everything but can't speak.
So, how do we make words active?
That's exactly what this lesson is about.
But before we fix the problem, let's look at the most common mistake people make.
Because this mistake keeps people stuck for years.
You know this situation. You're reading something in English, maybe a news article, maybe a blog post, something serious, something complex.
And there are words you don't know. A lot of them.
So you do the responsible thing. You stop, you open your notebook, and you write them down.
20 new words, maybe more.
You look up the translation. You maybe even write an example sentence from the article.
And then you close the notebook.
And you never open it again.
Or maybe you do try to memorize them. You read them again and again.
But a week later, gone. You don't remember them.
And even if you do remember, you never actually use them.
Why? Why doesn't this work?
Here's the real reason. Those words, they came from someone else's life.
The journalist who wrote that article? That's not you.
Their world, their job, their topics, not your world.
So your brain doesn't store those words because your brain is smart.
Your brain says, we don't need this, we'll never use this.
And it's right.
You won't use the word bilateral trade negotiations in your daily life.
Unless you actually work in trade negotiations.
Exactly. Context matters. Relevance matters.
If a word doesn't connect to your life, it won't stick. So what's the smarter way?
Simple idea, but it changes everything.
Learn words you can use in your life.
Not someone else's words, not random words from random articles.
Words that fit your world, your job, your relationships, your daily routine.
Think about it. When do you speak English?
Maybe you travel. Maybe you work with international clients. Maybe you have friends online.
Maybe you want to talk about your hobbies, your weekend, how you're feeling.
Those conversations, that's where your vocabulary needs to be strong.
Not in topics you'll never touch.
So, the first rule of smarter vocabulary learning is personal relevance.
If you can imagine yourself saying this word, learn it.
If you can't, skip it. Move on.
And there's a second rule, repetition through use.
It's not enough to see a word 5 times. You need to use it.
Say it, write it, think it.
The more you produce a word, the more it becomes yours.
Here's where I would start.
This is maybe the most practical thing in this whole lesson, so listen carefully.
Think about simple words you use every day in English.
Words like happy,
Or angry.
good.
Nice.
These are your base words. You already know them. You already use them.
And that's actually the problem.
You use the same 5 simple words every day, and your English sounds flat.
Like a beginner, even if your grammar is great.
So here's the step. Don't look for brand new words.
Instead, expand the words you already have.
Take one word. Find 3, 4, 5 synonyms.
A synonym is a word with a similar meaning.
And then use those synonyms in sentences from your own life.
Let's practice this right now. Let's take the word angry.
You know, angry. Easy word, but when do you actually sound interesting?
When you say, I was a little irritated,
Or, she seemed really upset about it.
or he was absolutely furious.
Same idea. Different level of emotion. Different context.
That's the power of synonyms. They don't just add variety, they add precision.
You're not just angry, you're annoyed, or frustrated, or furious. These are different feelings.
Let's do another one. Happy.
Happy is fine, but try, I'm really pleased with how it went.
Or, she was absolutely delighted.
Or, I feel satisfied, like I actually did something today.
Do you feel the difference?
Now, let's do good.
That was good. Boring, right?
But that was solid. Casual, real, natural.
That was amazing. Strong emotion.
It was decent, not perfect, but okay. Honest.
That was a great experience. Warm and positive.
And then there's nice.
Oh, this one.
Nice is probably the most overused word in English.
It means almost nothing at this point.
When you say, it was nice, people don't really feel anything.
But it was lovely, warm, personal.
It was charming, a little more special.
It was a wonderful afternoon. Now I can feel something.
See how replacing one flat word changes the whole sentence?
That's not complicated grammar, that's just better words.
Okay, so now you have a method, but how do you actually practice?
Let's make it concrete. Here's a simple daily routine.
Step 1. Choose one base word, one you already use. Happy, angry, good, tired, busy. Any word from your real life.
Step 2. Find 3 to 5 synonyms. Use Google. Use a thesaurus. Type synonyms for happy and you'll get a list.
Step 3. Create 3 personal sentences. Not sentences from the internet, not sentences from a dictionary. Your sentences about your day, your life.
For example, I was really irritated when my computer crashed this morning.
I felt satisfied after finishing that project.
The weather was gloomy today and I stayed inside.
Real, personal, yours.
Step 4. Say them out loud.
This is so important. Don't just write, speak.
Your mouth needs to practice too. The word needs to feel normal in your mouth.
Say it 5 times in different sentences until it feels natural.
Step 5. Use it during the day.
When something good happens, don't say good. Stop yourself. Which synonym can I use right now?
Try to use each new word at least 2 or 3 times in real situations.
In texts, in your head, when you're talking to yourself.
And yes, talking to yourself in English counts. It's actually really useful.
We'll talk more about that in a second.
Quick question. How many new words should you learn per day?
What do most people try to do?
20. Some people try 50.
And how many do they actually remember?
Almost none.
Right, because it's not about quantity, it's about depth.
Here's the number I recommend. 3 to 5 words per day.
That sounds small, but think about it.
If you learn 5 words deeply, with examples, with practice, with real usage, you actually own those words.
They become active vocabulary, not passive.
5 words per day, 5 days a week, that's 25 words a week.
Times 50 weeks a year, that's over 1,000 new words you can actually use.
That's a lot.
Compare that to learning 20 words a day, forgetting 18 of them.
You end up with less.
Less useful vocabulary, less confidence, more frustration.
So slow down. Go deep, not wide.
You don't need more words. You need better words, words you actually use. Okay, let's talk about the most important step, actually making words active.
Because learning a word and using a word, they're different things.
You can study a word for a week and still freeze when you try to say it.
So what do?
Here's something that works really well.
Comment your life in English.
What does that mean?
It means throughout your day, you narrate what's happening in your head in English.
You're making coffee. You think, I'm a little groggy this morning. I need this coffee.
You finish a task at work. You think, okay, that was straightforward. What's next?
You're watching the news. You think, this is really frustrating to watch.
You're using real words in real moments. That's how they stick.
Another technique, replace simple words in your thoughts.
Every time you catch yourself thinking a flat word, swap it.
I feel good, replaced with, I feel refreshed.
That was bad, replaced with, that was disappointing.
I'm happy, replaced with, I'm relieved, or I'm excited, depending on the situation.
The more you do this, the more natural it becomes.
And slowly, your active vocabulary grows, without even studying.
Because you're using the words in context, repeatedly.
That's how language actually works.
Okay, let's do a short practice together, right now.
Think of the word good.
You know this word. You probably use it 10 times a day.
Now, don't use it.
Think of a real moment from today or yesterday, something that happened.
And describe it without the word good.
Maybe your morning was peaceful.
Maybe your lunch was satisfying.
Maybe a conversation you had was encouraging.
Maybe your workout was tough but rewarding.
Take a second. Pause the video if you want. Think of your sentence.
Say it out loud, even if you're alone, especially if you're alone.
That moment, that's active vocabulary in action.
One sentence, one real word. That's the whole method.
Okay, let's bring it all together.
Here's what we covered today.
The reason your vocabulary isn't growing, it's not because you don't study enough. It's because you're building the wrong type of vocabulary.
Passive vocabulary is what you understand. Active vocabulary is what you use.
Most people only build passive, and that's why they can't speak.
The biggest mistake? Collecting random words from texts that have nothing to do with your life.
The smarter way? Start with words you already use. Expand them. Deepen them.
Synonyms are your best tool. Not 50 new words a day, 3 to 5, learned deeply, used in real sentences.
And the most important habit, comment your life in English. Replace flat words with better ones in your thoughts, in your texts, in your conversations.
Stop collecting random words.
Start building usable vocabulary.
Choose relevance over complexity.
Use what you learn.
That's it. That's the system.
Now here's your homework, and it's easy.
In the comments, write one synonym you're going to use today. Just one.
Maybe it's irritated instead of angry. Maybe it's solid instead of good.
Write it. It takes 10 seconds, and it makes it real.
And if this lesson was useful, like the video and subscribe. It takes 1 second and it helps more people find it.
Thank you for being here today.
You're already doing the right thing by watching this. Now go use it.